Yo yo. This was actually easier than doing it any other way, so I have it set up anyway. I may as well just use the old screen share. Um, Basically, this is the chart for this company, Teka. This specific share, they actually look like they have a couple of different shares. This one's called Teka4, so it's the one that I'd recommend. Basically, on trading view here, it shows you back until 2009. So here's the years, and here's the kind of price. And basically, the company's capitulated over the last few years, but it was around like 33. I don't know what that is, pence or pound. It doesn't really matter, whatever. Real, probably real. But anyway, yeah, it was about 33 here. Got as high in 2010 as like over 200. Sort of hovered around this 100 range to 150 range for a few years, and then it's just literally capitulated over the last few years. I think they had different like bankruptcy procedures and stuff like that. But basically, we're just going to look at the last couple of years because this is just the type of trading theory called, well, there's a few different things. Mainly a thing called Elliott wave theory with Fibonacci extensions. It's like a mathematical sequence type thing, but there's other trading analysis tools here. You can see this blue line and the yellow line that we're using, and this thing here is volume, basically. So I want you to see the amount of volume. Let me explain this, sorry, better. Each of these little red things, let me open this up. Each of these little red things and each of these little green things represents 1 week. So I'll have this toggled on to like 1 week, if you know what I mean. So these are called candles. Every candle represents a week. Basically, if it's red, it means that it finished down on the week below, the week prior. If it's green, it means it finished above the week prior. You know what I mean? So they're all 1 week. But basically, so this is 2017 here, 2018, 2019. So it's a pretty big spread here in terms of, it's a lot of time being covered. I'll just filter it more recently. Okay, so this big blue thing is called a 200, well, because we've got it on the weekly, it's a 200 week moving average. It basically just shows you the average of the last 200 weeks. And basically it's a tool that traders use because it shows that basically if the price is below it, it acts as resistance to make it basically tough for the share price to break through. If the share price is above it, it acts as support, if you know what I mean. So it tends to like bounce off it type thing. So as you can see, as an example here, whenever it got up pretty much bang up to it in 2017, it went from 8 up to 19, almost 20, and then it pretty aggressively sold off again, all the way back down to like 6. So then again, it broke above it at the start of 2018. It broke above it, but that week actually finished on it. Didn't finish the week over it, and then the following week, it then I guess aggressively sold off again, back down to the 6 or 7 type figure. Now, for the first time, it's sort of broken above this pretty long-term, strong overhead level of resistance in the 200-week moving average. The yellow one here, by the way, is an 8-week moving average, so it's always going to be slightly tighter to it, but it seems like pretty poignant, this blue one, in the life of the share of this particular company. There's different ways you can there's different moving averages which relate to different shares, and you can just basically see that there's some significance to this one with the share price. But basically, so it successfully broke out through it in June of 2020, and it pretty aggressively went the whole way up to like 30, or just shy of 30, from like 5 or 6. So this thing's been like, and bear in mind, I know absolutely nothing about the company, but I know that I've learned enough to know that these markets are manipulated in kind of trading theory circles a lot more than actual fundamentals of business a lot of the time. But basically what happened was it flew up to 30, it came down and tested, as you can see, it tested the previous resistance of the 200-week moving average. It then found support. It became support as opposed to like resistance whenever you're beneath it. It didn't fall below it, held the support, and then it moved up again, and it broke that sort of high up to about 32, and it's since had a major pullback. Now what you can see here, if you see this, these lines here, this is volume. This represents buying volume. So as you can see, the amount of volume on the share is, this basically means within that week. That's red, so it means that within that week, this is the amount of volume that there was, like more this week than any other week, and there was more selling volume this week than there was buying volume. That's basically what the colors mean, if you know what I mean. But what you can see is, so it did this initial breakout, there was a load of selling volume, so people sold a load off, and then it spent this entire period here doing what's called like a massive accumulation period. So there's loads of accumulation here, sort of big boys, big dogs knowing what they're doing, are accumulating loads at these sorts of prices around 9, 10, 11, 12, up to about, shot then the whole way up to about 32 again. Now, it since has retraced a significant amount, but it's retraced a significant amount on relatively low selling volume after quite a lot of what I would see as an accumulation phase. So basically what I'm saying is it won't take that much buying volume now to basically bust this thing up. And just on experience and seeing how this kind of unfolds before, I would imagine that the buying volume that's going to come in will be larger than this buying volume here. And as a result, basically whenever it kind of gets up to this territory a couple of times, any resistance around this level sort of weakens, which basically frees it up to kind of shoot a bit higher next time. So let me just see if there's anything else really here. Yeah, basically there's a thing that we use called Elliott wave theory, with Fibonacci retracement and extension kind of figures. This is like a mathematical series or sequence that just tends to lend itself well to trading analysis. So basically, let me see here. First of all, the retracement on the move. So this move went from the low here, 28.50, to the high at that like 32 figure. So basically what traders use whenever they do this Fibonacci retracements thing, they look for this retracement figure generally as like the golden ratio, they call it, the 0.618 retracement of the like original move. And basically anything under this line is like a strong buying area, and it's getting primed to kick back up again. If I move this briefly from each candle representing 1 week, this will show you it as 1 month. So yeah, we're within that month. It's closed beneath it 1 month, it's down here. I think this is going to turn around pretty quickly, like really quickly, as in any day now. It might touch as low as like 13.7 or something like that. It's at like 14.6 now, but it mightn't get that low. And I do genuinely think it's kind of like a trampoline, if you know what I mean. Like things have gone up in the air, and then it's almost like they've gone the whole way down, and it's like if you have a football and you hold it underwater, and it's almost like coiled ready, like a spring to kind of pop up. So yeah, like I can't buy any of this. And yeah, I have some money in like different shares and stuff like that, but they're in similar positions. This is probably better than any of them though, to be honest. I really think this is going to shoot up now. So what you can also do is, that's Fibonacci retracement that just showed you, but this is what trend-based fib extension. You kind of go from like the bottom to the top, back down to where you are now. And I know this just looks a bit crazy, but it shows you the 1.618, again called the golden ratio. You can look it up, with like a future prediction, basically using Elliott wave and using Fibonacci extensions. So this 1.618 territory is potentially where I could see it heading for this next move, which is up towards 59 or something, which if it got that high is obviously like a, I don't know, somewhere between a 300 and 400% move. Mightn't get that high, but basically in a nutshell, I think this is just a really, really good buying opportunity. So, and it's sort of unusual that I come across something like this as clear as day, so I didn't want to just kind of like waste it, and figured, who do I know that lives in Brazil? So anyway, yeah, hopefully this works out for you. Yeah, if you take it or leave it, your call. Anything else? No. Teka4. Teka4.